Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Survivor Now recap post-episode show. My name is not Randy. Sadly, Randy is currently in a tornado following the Yellow Brick Road. And with me, I have Abraham, of course. My day one, actually. My day two, I would say. Randy's my day one. Abraham, back in the day, it was me, you, and Randy Bruce.
Hey, we put it together.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, we have Avery. Avery, how are you doing?
I'm good. Excited.
Did you enjoy the episode, Avery?
I did.
I'm glad to hear. Avery actually, right before doing the podcast, agreed to give me fashion advice. So special shout out to Avery. I don't know. We lost Bruce for a second there.
Bruce was touching his head.
Yeah, we have. I think Randy was on the line or something like that. God bless Randy. But Bruce, how are you doing, my good sir?
I'm good. I just like the comment that you just said that, after you're talking to Abraham, that you went over to Avery and said on the other side of the spectrum. And I'm just thinking you were talking about from the oldest to the youngest. Like,
oh, I mean that too.
We like 12 minutes apart, guy. What you talking about? Next time you roll through, don't worry about it. I'm saving these up. I'm saving all these up.
Unknown fact about Survivor Now podcast, but actually me and Abraham are the same age, and actually he's only 12 minutes older than I am. That's a fun fact for you all. I am also 83 years old. Anywho,
First time I see him put them hands on you, buddy. You better get these hands, Will. That's what you need to get. You need to get these hands.
I need to be humble.
Randy post that one on TikTok.
We'll put these hands on you.
Anywho, pleasure to be joined with all the three of y'all. Pardon the stutter, by the way. And jumping right into things, this was a very, I would say,
trying to get Mitch.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to be Mitch. Yeah, I'm glad someone noticed. About time. I've been cosplaying these Survivor players. I wore a very similar flannel last season whenever we talked about Kyle. I have a flannel that Ben wore back in HVH. I'm glad that people are picking up because Abraham, you're the leading role of men's fashion. Am I correct when saying that?
Let me tell you something, man. When you see me in person, you're gonna be like, "That swag is swagging, buddy." I don't really know what yours is, but again,
for sure,
got the physique to go with it. I know you're still trying to get yours built up. Coming off your high school chapter, now going into college. Congratulations. But this is developed and built.
I'm liking what's going on. This is like an internal roast.
I know.
This is the whole day.
I remember when Will was 12. So I mean, he's just trying to come at me. That's all.
Listen, guys, that was a long time ago. All right,
last week.
That was the old Will. That was the old Will. I almost doxed my whole name. But no, I mean, I don't know. It's been a minute though, Abraham. It's fun to be back on the podcast. I will say, there's a part of me that misses being here, but there's another part of me that feels insulted after every sentence.
Yeah. I mean,
when it comes to Abraham,
take it with a grain of salt, man. I mean,
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, just take it with a grain of salt. You'll be all right.
I mean,
we still gonna put them hands on you when we see you, but go ahead, you'll be all right. Rome Jr.
Not the hands, man.
Hands.
Speaking of hands, I feel like we can talk about the episode. I feel like the start of the episode, we saw Say really wanted to throw hands with Cedric, I believe. Which was, how do you recover from that? If you're Cedric, I feel like we can open this up to a conversation. You're Cedric, you just voted out, or you tried voting out your entire tribe. You voted, Mary initially, and then Justin. How do you try to reintegrate yourself back in that group? Because I feel like it's a very tricky pipeline, and to use the word stock liberally, I feel like Cedric stocks going into the episode and coming back from tribal was very, very low, and had Vula stuck as their tribe and with the tribal again, I think it's Cedric goes clear cut 2-1. Abraham, if you're Cedric, how do you try to integrate yourself back into the group? How do you go? Do you go to say and apologize? Do you try to work with Mary? How do you swing and curry favor?
Well, two things. One, remember now, CBS got editing superpowers. what we get to see is not always the whole story. So let's take that with a grain of salt and then say, okay, well, you're coming back. The tribe already decimated. You made a play to try to, mend some fences. So one of the two is going to always be with you. You just don't know which one of the two that's going to actually be with you. But you know what? I think Cedric's got good gameplay. We don't see the other parts of the story. Bruce know what I'm talking about. You can be at Tribal for hours and you see it come on TV. You only see 10 minutes. You're like, well, we was there for 2 and 3 hours. But you only see that last part of it. So we don't know what that missing piece is. But I think Cedric played a game based off of the missing information that we as viewers didn't get to see. But I think he's going to come out. I think he's going to still come out on top because Cedric's playing basically a steady game. Not too flashy.
Yeah.
He's not this, he's not that, but he's consistent. Talking to people, loyal to people. He was loyal to Justin until Justin just said he didn't want to tell the truth. So,
Well, the inverse of that, though, Abraham, is that Justin came out and said, and Cedric both said that the last tribal council was significantly longer and there's a lot more discussion.
Yep.
So it's the same wavelength as saying, Cedric's playing a pretty good game. There's just information we haven't seen. I think we can make the same case with Justin. And if we're going to assume the same cases, wouldn't it have made much more sense for Cedric to stuck with Justin and put all of his eggs in the Justin basket? No.
Well, here's the thing. The goal is not to go home.
Yeah, true.
It don't make no difference what you did. If you don't go home, that means your game is Let me rephrase that. The name of the game is outwit, outplay, outlast.
Yeah.
If you go home, you lose. That's it. And Justin lost.
Bruce, where do you land on the Cedric discussion here, especially coming back from Tribal Council?
He lucked out because he did not have everyone that was there. Plus, he lucked out that they didn't go to Tribal. He probably did a little bit better in this challenge than he did in other challenges because I didn't see him loafing behind. They edited it in a way that he wasn't a focal point of what was going on. But I will say, I said it last week. Say literally, I'm talking like Stephen A. Smith. I said it last week. Say's coming for him. She is coming for him. And the fact of the matter is that the reason why is because he put her name down twice. And then he turned around and said, okay, no, I'm going to keep you and get rid of Justin. Now, that's going to stay in her mind. As soon as, there was no threat of going to Tribal Council. She's like, he threw me under the bus. He had my name written down. I can't trust him anymore. All right, well, a normal person and not in that game situation would be like, okay, you targeted me, you freed me, and now we're good. We're good. Shake hands, go on from there. In this game, hell no. I don't trust anybody anyway. And now the trust is completely gone, and she will throw him under the bus within a hot minute if they make their way back to Tribal. It's just there's no getting past it.
Yeah, and then but Avery, going to you on Siva 1.0 again, not before the swap. Who do you think is in the best position if they went back to Tribal? I feel like we're talking pretty low about Cedric being lucky that they didn't go back to Tribal and being safe from that. But do you think Mary or Say is in a more advantageous position?
I would say, yeah, if they didn't swap, I would say that Cedric is definitely in more danger. But at the same time, I now seeing this episode and Say throwing Cedric under the bus, it kind of just makes me think he was definitely in danger, but he didn't really know, because originally I thought that he I guess wouldn't be in danger because Say would see that she can kind of control him, because obviously Justin was his number one and he kept Say instead. So it's kind of just a tough situation. I feel like if they didn't swap, but now that they did, I have some opinions on that we'll get to. But
look, I mean, a good tribe swap.
I was gonna say we can go straight into the swap, because I feel like there's not a lot that happened before the swap.
Well, if you wouldn't mind me just interjecting 1 second.
Yeah, please go ahead. Floor is yours.
everybody literally sat there last week and like, Cedric, the stupidest shit you could have done, blah 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 blah. Everything that I saw, everything that I listened to, Cedric was a kicking post for last week. And then what they do? They mesh him over. Now we're talking about the swap, but they take him, they mesh him over, and now he gets his human moment. They humanized him.
Yep.
And they made him likable again. And not the butt of the jokes from last week. Yes, editing. But again, everybody has their darling moment at some point in time. You make it to day 9, you're gonna get a darling moment. So he has his darling moment. And I think that is one of those things that, and just me foreshadowing in my mind and thinking about this thing, is that he probably will go home next week. He probably will go home next week just for the fact that they gave him that foreshadowing. They made him, they humanized him, and then next week they kill him.
No, I disagree. And the reason is they didn't give him. I agree with you on the fact that when you get your moment, they give you your moment. But usually when they give you your moment by yourself and they do a flashback, you gone. So they combine him and they looked at how Cedric's. I don't want to call it a strategy because it was a human moment where him and Mitch bonded. But at the same time, it was something to connect the two. So I think if you're in a flashback by yourself, be weary because you might be gone next week.
Yeah.
But we didn't really
think about it though. It is by himself because he's giving the revelation of himself to Mitch. Mitch, we already know about Mitch.
Yeah.
This is him talking to Mitch. It wasn't like Mitch. And then when Mitch said something about the games, he's like, "Oh yeah, the games." And then like I think that was his moment. That was
my thoughts though are that Say went to Bianca. Bianca's on her own on that tribe. Like she doesn't have anybody else that was on her tribe before with her on the new Siva. And Cedric and Mitch got along, and Mitch and Chrissy are both there and both from the same original tribe. So in we obviously don't know what's going on really with Mitch and Chrissy and how that's going to go. But in my mind, at the moment, I feel like he might be in a better position than Say because of the fact that Say went to the one solo person and is clearly against Cedric, and Cedric is, I'm guessing, clearly against Say and went to the person who's has another tribe member with them, if that makes sense.
I'm gonna say Say game is odd. She didn't. Okay, let's look at Eva. Eva just straight threw Star under the bus. She drove the bus. She backed the bus up. She dumped place. She went and got her dump truck, and she did everything.
Now, she got outside of the bus and let traffic go by to run her over, and then ran her over again.
Now, in the game of Survivor, I want y'all to remember this. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes when you don't know the group, and this is where I say plays a different game. Because Say said, "Hey, I don't feel this way about him, but you get your own vibe."
Right.
And I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. I don't feel him like
vibe
that.
Check.
But you get your own vibe. Yeah. Where Eva, she was like, "I'm telling you everything," and we was trying to get rid of her. The crazy part, all the 3 new tribes all had somebody else picked out to go that was on their old tribe. Nobody was caring about the new people. They was like, "No, we about to get this person on our old tribe out."
Yeah. I mean, the only exception though was New Vula, because New Vula was the only new tribe to have very concrete duos and alliances still intact. Because with Siva and Lagi, they're new tribes. It's like, yes, there's the old connections, but none of them are tight alliances. Like Charity and David, they're not allies.
No.
Cedric and Say, they were allies, but now they're in a weird middle ground. Same with Chrissy and Mitch to an extent. And so I feel like between Lagi and Siva, it's a lot more fluid, I think. And I think, to Say's credit, I think telling Bianca, like, "Hey, get your own read on Cedric," was the smartest thing she could have said, because you can still carry that baggage of what happened in the last tribal council, right? She can still bring that up and use that as dirt against Cedric if she wanted to. But then she has to realize that sometimes you just cannot get your way 100% of the time, and you do have to bend. And sometimes you have to bend to save yourself, right? So if Bianca was like, "I really like Cedric and we need to keep Cedric," Say could have just been like, "All right, me, you, and Cedric link up. I deal with Cedric later," And so I don't think she's playing a weird game. I think she's being smart. And
Didn't ride that bus over him. I can tell you that.
The way that she said that too, though, she's like, you get your own vibe on them. To me, it was like, I'm good with that, dude. You go check it out. You see what you got to get. Like that's what I got from the way she said it. Because then she went into a confessional and was like, "Yo, I found the crack."
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So again, say now hitched her wagon to someone that potentially could just be the two of them, as you said, Avery.
Yeah.
So when you said that, I was thinking, I'm like, okay, that now makes sense, and now it even makes more sense now that we talked about it a little bit more. But like you said, Abraham, about less is more. So you say less, but no matter what, if you say too much, it's construed one way. If you say too little, it's construed one way. There's no real happy medium because you have different personalities. You're going to look at it a different way. I looked at it when she said that, go check his vibe. Like, your vibes aren't mentioned. Tell me about your vibe. Like, I vibe with this dude. He's cool. You should go check him out yourself. That would be a different answer.
Yeah.
But her just flat out saying that? No.
Yeah, it seemed a little bit like her trying to be mean, but like not trying to flat out say it just in case.
Yeah.
I thought Mitch and Cedric made a good inroad to bonding together because really, you really only need two. You need three, but the person that's going to not vote you out. So I just thought it was a good mixture of tribes, except for the Milkman. The Milkman tribe. I'm like, hey, come on, Milkman. What's going on? He still ain't drinking water. Like,
it's
get your ass on that water.
Talking David?
Yeah, the Milkman.
Okay.
For like, okay, so Eva obviously immediately was like, okay, I like David. Yeah. And she straight up was like, I will get Star out. I don't care. I'll take her out. I don't care. I'm like, okay, girl, you say that. It was a bit much for sure, but I think though too that obviously since David and Charity like don't really vibe, that like I'm interested to see what's gonna happen because obviously Eva wants Star out and David's like, oh, but I want Charity out. So I mean Mary I feel like is in a good position with that. But I'm just interested to see how that exactly will play out.
They're sitting on the sideline like, man, as long as y'all ain't bothered me,
right?
I ain't bother y'all.
Where do you want me to go? Who do you want me to say bye to?
Yeah, this was honestly best case scenario for Mary because she can she's in a very similar position, I feel, with like Mitch. Mm-hmm. I feel like the way Mitch is in his current tribe and the way Mitch has been playing to me, he's been very passive. Like he hasn't been going out of his way to really communicate with a lot of people, but Mitch has such good personality and he's so personable that people can't help but want to work with Mitch. That's how Charity was. Charity went over to Mitch and was like, Mitch, I love you, dude. We got to work together. And I think that's kind of the approach Mary was kind of taking with Loggy. Obviously, she's not being passive and just saying, hey guys, let's all be best friends. But she's letting the game play out because Ava being so bold and brazen to just throw Star under the bus like that will always come back to bite Ava in the back, even if we're not seeing it now. It reminds me of Gabler in 43, just throwing out Elliot under the bus brazenly. Worked out for him.
He did win.
He did win. So it could mean Ava wins too.
I don't think so. She rode the bus. She took the bus on that whole trip.
The problem that I'm finding with Ava, and I'm sorry, I don't see it myself as a problem. As a normal human being, what I see as a problem in the game is that she's so enthusiastic about a lot of things that happen, and it's gonna rub someone the wrong way. Mm-hmm. But it goes back to also like Marianne. When Marianne was a little, she was a little over the top. But I think that it's coming from, it's like both players. It's coming from a genuine place. But there are going to be players. It's a different game now. It evolved a little bit since Marianne. That people they're gonna be like, okay, now we're gonna get rid of this cuteness. We're gonna get rid of this person that is full of energy, because that energy is going to translate to friendships and inner peace with someone and that's going to vote and give them $1 million. And the same thing I think with Mitch. People are going to look at Mitch. You're going to be like, yo, like I love this guy to death, but his story is going to make my story look very tiny, so I want him out.
Hey, when do they merge? What number do is the merge.
I think it was what was it at 11?
We're down to 14. So we got 3 more that got to go.
Yeah. Usually it's like they
11 and that one person's out, and then
day 12 is like they bring them all together on one tribe, and then they don't form the next tribe until
next
that split vote at the final 12. So I think 13 is when they merge, and then final 11 is when the jury starts.
And the reason I was asking was, I think if Eva gets back with Joe, she got a chance. But right now,
Yeah, I feel like the tough thing with Eva is that obviously she told like Joe everything about her life, and I think that the tough thing is that most people would look at her being very forward with everything as an issue because they don't understand like why that is, if that makes sense. And like Joe, I feel like because she obviously told him everything, and like when she gets anxious, what to do and things like that. I feel like it's going to be very tough until the merge, if she does stay in the game for her, without him there, like in case she needed him, obviously, because they got separated. And I feel like that was a very like it was a short stick draw for her.
I'm gonna have to disagree a little bit on that remark.
Little pushback.
Push. Hey, look, I agree with you to a certain extent, but she opened up the water hose on giving out information.
Yeah,
I mean, come on now. Joe can't save her for what she just did. She just said, I'm gonna give you the stove, I'm gonna give you the bacon, the chicken, I'm gonna cook it all up. And I was like, what game is she playing again? Less is more. So it ain't that game.
As questionable as it is, granted, my computer did freeze up halfway through the episode, so I missed like 5 minutes or 2 minutes of the episode.
Good stuff.
But there wasn't pushback against it. Like normally in a scene like this, there will be a follow-up scene, right? We'll see like Mary go to Star, and Mary will be like, Star, like Ava's after you. Did we see that this episode?
Because they were looking for somebody else. They weren't even targeting Star. Who was targeting on that little get together?
They were targeting Charity and David. It was like kind of split between those two, and a lot of the screen time from New Lagi really revolved around David. I'd say both between his relationship with Charity and Ava, and also Mary finally like being on a winning tribe and finally winning Survivor. Took her until day 9. So big ups to Mary, by the way, guys. Big shout out.
Hold up. We gotta give a shout out to that trash ass beach that they left.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. Abraham, you can back me up on this. You were there for 3 days. You know what I'm talking about. So
next time I see you, I'm putting hands on you. You and Ollie and Will, you all get them hands. But y'all get them hands.
First, how long were you there?
I believe I was there for 19 days.
Not that day you knocked yourself out.
The first time.
Oh, first time, 20 minutes.
Oh,
That's
20 whole minutes.
I gotta lay the land.
They be rolling.
You're getting the Survivor experts here, ladies and gentlemen.
Look, next time you dive under that pole, that was 1 hour. They was carting your ass off. What happened to Bruce?
There it is.
You'll be all right.
Listen. There is an emphasis on having an older person in the tribe to be able to say, okay, yo, let's keep this shit tidy. Like it's unfortunate sometimes because you do sit there and you've seen it on different seasons where a younger tribe will sit there and they don't care. Nobody wants to do the shelter. Nobody wants to, keep things clean. I remember a couple of episodes. Oh, why are there so many flies around us? Is that like because you're opening coconuts right next to where you're sleeping?
Lazy.
You know what I mean? Like, and then there's coconut husks right there. Like, I remember when we were sitting there, like I open up the coconuts, take out the juice, take out all the stuff inside, and then we would like we're in the Olympics, we would throw that stuff as far as we possibly could away from our shelter. And that was that's a culmination of everybody. It wasn't me saying it was everybody who's kind of understanding that we didn't want flies around us. So it's kind of one of those things. Look, you gotta.
Who was peeing around the shelter?
Nobody. Like we knew, like we had designated areas. Like go over there to the 13th tree, take a right, and then dig a hole. Like,
then it goes back to Cedric, though, right? Because Cedric is the older person on the tribe. Shouldn't he take? He's 45. I mean, that's a lot older than Mary and Say.
But I'm gonna
And-
tell you though,
Ain't no
Cedric's too nice of a dude. He's not gonna push back. He's not gonna be like, no, all
he
right,
needs
cool.
to push back.
Let me tell
You
you.
guys do what you want to do. Like it's all right. Like I think we
I
should.
almost
No,
hold up.
no.
I've met
Okay.
Cedric in person. Bruce, you met Cedric in person.
Yes,
I
and he's
did.
extremely nice.
He's really nice.
He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. Oh, Avery, yeah, he's a nice guy. And I mean, but he still came to play the game of Survivor. He
Yes.
still came to
Oh,
play.
yeah.
And you got to give credit where credit is due. If you're still there after day 9 and you're still moving and shaking, you playing the game of Survivor. So,
After constant tribals too.
oh yeah, and I mean, it's hard when you get decimated. That's the hardest way to play the game because now you hoping Jeff bail
Mhm.
out Jeff. You hoping Jeff bails you out in some kind of way in this game to give you life. When you're looking at this, only 3 players left on the tribe, you sitting there hoping something happens because it's like we go travel again. It might be me because we down to 3. You can't hide with 3 people.
Nope.
Nope.
And then
I
I will
mean-
think Cedric would have been gone. I think if they'd have played a challenge, Cedric would have been gone. But before we get there, let's point out the fact that there was crosstalk at the challenges because we didn't see it on the episode between Star and Camilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that part.
I mean, that's not really a new thing though. I feel like that's been referenced and something that's just been happening across the
didn't see
last. We just don't see it often. I remember it happened in 46 with Liz and Mariah because they're like, "Oh, we look similar." Whatever. Do you think there's going to be more foreshadowing or more moments like this where it'll get revealed later down the road? Because I feel like it's always smart to try to talk to the people on the other tribes because you can always get a little bit of information. It
Mhm.
rarely ever really comes back to bite you. Honestly, the last time someone got in trouble for talking to someone on the other tribe was Redemption Island, and that was 20 years ago.
I have a question.
10 years ago.
I have a question for the panel. Did y'all like when they did the foreshadowing? Yay or nay? Did you like it?
I liked it because it showed context
Yeah.
to something that I
Yeah.
hadn't
Avery,
seen.
you liked it?
Yeah.
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 Editing's not going to do it again. They're not going to do it again because we liked it. Okay?
Whatever.
Okay.
They're
Did
not
he
going
vote
to do
on
it again. And that's a funny thing about it. And that's why they're putting it in the hands of the people. And I love Survivor a lot, but they're putting it in the hands of the people, which I understand. There's a lot of things out there, a lot of great things that I've heard people say that they would like to see either come back or change or whatever have you. And then we get that voting thing today, and it was the same stuff.
Yep.
Like, I don't want that. I want to see new stuff. It's a season 50. Like, tap into somebody else's mind that has a little bit more of a thought, a little bit more of outside of the box thinking. And I'm telling you, it's going to be so much better. Not to say it's not good. It's great now. I love it. But just to make it better,
Well, I saw some of the stuff they were voting on because I voted. So it's interesting. It's interesting to.
I was mad there wasn't for like the Final Four immunity. I was mad there wasn't one of the like what's it called?
Endurance.
Yeah, the endurance
I love that
challenges.
I love that water challenge.
I
where you
was
gotta
hoping there
drown.
would be.
My favorite challenge is still the buoy challenge from Palau, or they're just hanging on a buoy for 12 hours.
I literally said in the pre-show, I said, I really hope they just have us vote, like, in general, should it be endurance or something or whatever. Because I was really hoping that they would bring back one of the old challenges, and that's the exact one that I brought up in the pre-show, because I was like, it would be really cool for them, for their final immunity challenge, to be a challenge that we haven't had in so long, that has been, like, so iconic in Survivor history. And then I looked at them and I was like, whatever. Haters.
Look, that when you drown in that little cat in that little pit, I'm like, oh, that's always a good one. But that could be scary. That could be scary.
And since Survivor 43, they're not bringing that one back either because it got broke, which is a made up term, by the way.
Two people.
Nah, it's not made up. Jake broke his. Jake kicked the shit out of his.
No, I'm saying that the water challenge where you're drowning.
Yeah.
What did he kick it with? I mean, was he trying to get
Jake
out?
when he was in that what was it the
domino
thing, and he had stomped on it or whatever, and he broke it. And Jeff was like,
I was
"Yo,
on
you're
the
out,
show,
bro."
I would not want to be drowning because that is a challenge I wouldn't win.
Look, to tap out. What happened? Oh, y'all already start? I'm just gonna go sit over here. Just let me know.
That's happened before, man. That happened in Karamoan. It was a similar challenge, and Philip Shepard was like, "I'm not doing this challenge, Jeff."
I would for sure freak out for sure. Like I was talking with my parents about it and they were like, "No, you're on Survivor. You just got to do it." And I'm like, if I was in that situation and I was like literally drowning, no, I'm good, thank you.
Let me say, here's a funny part. I'm with Avery on this because I've seen Bruce execute this to the fullest. When they had the challenge where Bruce had to run into the woods to get some money, I'm looking at Bruce on TV like, what is up with this guy?
I'm gonna stand by my guns on that. Listen, I hurt myself on a reward challenge. I'm not hurting myself on another one. So that's why, slow and steady.
In the words of Sandra and them, you can sit some challenges out and still win the game of Survivor.
No, I'd be sprinting through the woods for sure.
I mean, it's dangerous.
No
I'd
fear.
say being 2020, I would have put a little more.
That I'm not afraid about, but you put me in the water drowning.
You can't swim.
I can swim.
Look,
she said,
Abraham, not everyone likes the idea of you drowning and gasping for air.
Just, like being waterboarded by Survivor.
You're gonna find out what these hands and drowning feel like. Keep playing.
I'm not playing. All right, guys.
Avery said she can swim. That's all I need to know. But she gave her the face. She came up with the face. I was like, okay, we're gonna still put you in Survivor and see what happens. I can't wait to be talking about y'all on the podcast. Yeah, they're gonna be right there. Look,
when you get a chance to play, if that ever does come, which I hope it does for you, if they pull that challenge up, there's gonna be a different part of your mind that's gonna click in.
I'm just gonna be imagining this conversation and just be like, just think about the podcast, Avery. Just think about the podcast.
I disagree with Avery. I think I'm winning that challenge actually, like 10 for 10. Like I'm fully used to being waterboarded. I work in a restaurant, so I kind of know the feeling of drowning.
Hold on, what y'all doing?
Can we just pause for a second because I work in a
bring
restaurant.
Me my bread. I'm gonna
waterboard.
Yeah, I understand the feeling. Entirely, guys. So
where you working at, man? That you waterboarding yourself?
What CIA agent has like
USO
to you for some info?
Without giving it away on the podcast,
Will Bourne is here.
It's a very popular Australian steakhouse chain. So shout out to Survivor Australia as well.
Dude, we know where you work at now. We're playing.
Right.
I can't say it one for one.
It must not be a blooming onion.
We done changed that strip on the Barbie.
The clientele,
the
people I experience, it does feel like I'm getting waterboarded half the time.
Okay, that makes sense.
So work in a zoo. Is it a zoo? Is they feeding the water buffaloes? Like, what's going on?
It's like, is he getting waterboarded in the back? What's going on?
A lot of drinks get thrown in his face.
Yeah, there's been times where I leave.
You call that a drink? That's not a drink.
There's been times where I get like completely soaked at work. It's rough, guys.
What the world?
Wow.
Hold up. What?
We're going off the rails, but I just
you
work with Shamu
together.
I'll tell you guys after the podcast about why. But we were talking challenges, and I guess we could talk about the challenge. Even though there's one part of the challenge I really like. I like the fact that breaking the challenge became part of the challenge because you had to throw the beanbag through the little football gate, and then you can knock it over and you have to reset it. I think that was a really cool little addition, something very neat, something very quaint and very small that I think no one else is going to say they appreciated. And so I'll back you up, Jeff Probst and Survivor. I like that part of the challenge.
That's the one thing that I didn't do at Nashville because they had that one, and I didn't do it, but I saw other people do it.
Here's a word out to the wise of future Survivor players. That cube is heavy.
The cube?
Don't even think for a minute that you're gonna be able to take off and hope you move that cube. That when they first started, that thing is heavy.
Well, we saw that too. Like Siva started so far behind. Like I'm very surprised that they won the challenge or they got second because it looked like a Vula win.
It was crazy because like it went from Vula first, Logie and Siva, and then it went to Siva first, and then Vula and then Logie, and then Vula first, and then Siva and then Logie, and then Logie somehow pulled out and won, and Siva got second, and I was like, pause. It just was switching up the whole time.
I will say it till I'm blue in the face. The puzzle is a great equalizer. It doesn't matter. It never, ever matters. Like you can sit there and you can have a 4-minute head start. Who was it? It was season 40. Natalie was it Natalie? She got the advantage, and she still lost.
Oh yeah, still lost the puzzle.
She still lost because of the puzzle. Like it's an equalizer. It just is what it is. There's a lot of luck that goes along with that. Like strategy, nerves as well. Yep. It's I don't know.
Bruce, did y'all get like we was in quarantine a little longer, but when we made the transition from LA to Fiji, they gave us a little goodie bag and it had Sudoku book in it. It had one of the puzzles. That's why they stopped doing this puzzle because it was one in our box. It was like the puzzle and another puzzle that they gave us in a goodie bag. Did y'all get any goodie bags in LA?
No, because the social distancing wasn't like it was when you went out there.
Oh, okay.
So we had a table with stuff on it. We went over and grabbed Sudoku, and some people got Edgic puzzles, and I'm just like, who the hell are these brainiacs? Like,
I play Sudoku like every day. So
yeah,
my Sudoku game is strong now. It was weak back then.
That's been well documented.
Like we hated it. I couldn't stand Sudoku. Man, that trash game. And then I saw Danny McCoy win money on the challenge. I was like, I'm about to get my Sudoku game up just in case.
I mean, Sudoku and Survivor is a duo that stood the test of time since Survivor China, where poor Jeff Probst was trying to do his hosting business and wanting to talk to PG just about the challenge. And he's like, PG, what do you think about the challenge? Are you good at puzzles? And poor PG was just like, I'm good at Sudoku, guys. And all this talk of Sudoku just made me think of PG.
Sudoku. PG's nice to meet in person too. She's just as enjoyable. These Survivor players you meet from back in the day are it's just a treat to meet everybody.
Yeah. I was gonna say, is there anyone that you don't have good things to say about? Obviously, you won't say it on the. Well, yes, but like I'm speaking very vaguely because obviously I don't know.
It's two dudes that if I see them I'm putting hands on. They trash. I don't know how they even got through the vetting system of Survivor, considering what we had to go through. And I'm pretty sure they had to do some of that, but I was like, they trash. Matter of fact, I almost mistaken one. Yeah, I almost mistaken one of them at in Orlando, and I thought he was the player. I was like, no, dude, we can't even roll. It's just that he was a nasty player, and he was just nasty to people. And then the one guy that was touching people, nah, man, he can't.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I can't roll.
I was gonna say like just like a random player from like Survivor Pearl Islands, like Sean. Like you're just going on the podcast and just being like Sean from Pearl Islands. Hated that dude.
It's only Pacific people for me. Like one dude, come on, man, stop touching people, man. And he was touching the staff. I was like, as much as they was talking, they was like, don't move with us. I was like, what?
I'm like, here's a plane ticket home.
Yeah, we wasn't in a position to even. I didn't even think about putting my hands on them. Just like they was little drill sergeants or something. I was ignoring it. Yeah. But, and then the other guy, I just thought he was real. There was I can't remember the dude's name, but there was a guy that was on there, and he just was just nasty for no reason. And it wasn't Russell Hans's nephew. He just was crazy as hell.
He just got caught up in a murder rap, didn't he?
Did he?
I know we're going off the rails.
Hold on. Yeah. We wait. Hey, hold on, dude. He in a murder rap.
Yeah,
no, he was. I thought he was funny in the whole situation of how they voted him out and the whole thing, but I don't. It's only two players that I know of off my. I don't know about Bruce for older players.
I think on that note, I think it's time to take a quick ad break, and we'll be right back with Katie Tedesco's art cards. By the way,
we're gonna be much better after the break. Right.
Hi, Survivor Now podcast listeners. I am Katie from KT Designs, better known as Katie Tedesco Art on both Instagram and Etsy. I have been designing and selling Survivor products for over 7 years at my Etsy shop, including replicas like hidden immunity idols and Survivor trading cards with all of the players' stats on the back. I am so grateful for Survivor Now for giving me this shout out and helping me reach even more super fans. I love listening to their podcast. So if you are looking for some really unique reality TV products for yourself or to give a super fan in your life, come check out my Etsy shop at www.etsy.com www.shop.kdtedescoart.com.
Man, we're gonna have Katie on the show. Come on,
That's
Katie.
what I'm saying.
Bring Katie on the show.
We got to bring Katie back. But so the challenge, it was you got to move the cube, grab the bag, grab the bean bags, throw the bean bags, land it on the thing, dig through the sand, do the puzzle, which I feel like is a very bog standard challenge. And I feel like this might be a little controversial to say, right? But just an idea I have. What if challenges were less linear like this? I would almost rather a challenge be one giant puzzle, where that's the whole point. It's just one giant puzzle that you and your tribe have to figure out. And instead of trying to do, the brains, bronze, beauty whole thing and trying to make it a balanced like race, would y'all rather see like one just large challenge, not a lot of small parts?
See, for me, I feel like them doing, I guess, more like physical things up to a puzzle almost makes it harder because you're like exhausted. I mean, I've never been on the show, so I wouldn't know. So you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I just feel like if you're like running through all that stuff and like doing all that like physically exhausting stuff, and then you get to a puzzle and you're tired, it's gonna make it a little harder.
Bruce is trash. Hey, we listening, but Bruce, stop, man. Bruce be doing nonsense. I wish y'all could see what he's doing.
I'm literally sitting here now, Avery. That makes sense because you did say something. You said that y'all were on the show, and I think Abraham, you were in one challenge, and the challenge that you were in.
I'm trying to take my challenge in 2 challenges.
Can you tell me about them? Tell me about them. How did they get?
Here's the thing, Avery. You're absolutely correct, Bruce. I'm putting hands on you. This was the first time I ever see you again this year. Me and you going for it. I think for the viewers, and Bruce, this is for us. You see it from a one dimension. You see it from the TV dimension. So the challenge is actually layered. It's layered in the weight of the puzzle pieces. It's layered on the environment of, is it hot?
Yeah.
Because when we were in the jungle, that jungle is hot and it's giving off a lot of heat, and you're trying to combat multiple things. So it's layered in the right way, but you can only see it one dimensional. But the players play it multi-dimensional. They're dealing with the puzzle pieces after doing the running, after doing the pushing, after doing the jumping. But you only see that one aspect of it. So I think, I hate to say it, but if you do more, you're going to make it way more difficult. I think Jonathan in one season where he basically just drug his whole tribe out the water.
In the water, yeah.
Yep.
The sea was the other dimension that you couldn't see, nor did you see it in the edits, that it took so much time and exhaustion in that water because of the way the water was moving. And they just don't have time to show you that part of it. But I'm with Avery. You're exhausted because you're burning so much energy that you haven't put back. We saw that Mitch and them had food on their beach, but every beach doesn't have something to eat except for coconuts.
Yeah, and kind of to piggyback off of that, you show up, you have no energy. Like you really have no energy. You come around the corner, you hear Jeff say, "Come on in," and then something starts fueling you. The competitive nature starts fueling you. You start getting that energy, and you're ready to go. So there's a strategy that goes along with it. You got to figure out who's going to work in the best position for whatever have you for each section. So if you're off by one thing, if someone says I can do that, but then they fail at it, like there's really no way to combat that unless you have the ability to swap out. So there are sometimes you don't have the ability to swap out, but you have. It gives you the ability to be able to have everyone somewhat on a level playing field, because you're gonna have the athletic people, you're gonna have the people that are extremely smart and they all know all the puzzles, this, that, and the other, and then you're gonna have someone that's just straight across the middle that can help out every single aspect of it. One thing that I will tell future Survivor players is this, and you see it now, like they learn after the second or third time they touch it. Whenever there's something with a knot, I pray to God you do not just pull down on that thing and think it's just going to come apart, because once you pull down on it, you're tightening 4 or 5 different knots, and then you have like 4 or 5 afterwards. Like you have to have delicate hands to go through that. Now, I remember walking up to one of the first challenges we did and seeing it and being like, in my mind, I'm like, yo, I'm hoping everybody sees that. And then it's like, okay, do we see the knots? and we walk through everything and we see it. So there's the ability for us to have multiple things is it gives us different places for us to be able to cheer. What I'd love to be able to see is give me something like NFL Today, where I got 3 different screens, or on one screen and 3 different spots showing each of the tribes and how at that moment.
Yeah.
Because editing will tell you one thing. I want to see what they're doing at that moment, how close they actually are. And then edit me at the very end when they're at the last stage. I want to see that. That'd be cool to see.
Because we did when I did ours. I mean, you know what? When I did mine, and it's hot, I said, you know what? I'm gonna have fun. And Bruce is right. You're nervous. You know, you kind of the cameras kind of fade in the background, and you nervous, and you're like, hey, I'm man. I took off. I threw myself up there. I was rolling down. I was just having a blast until I put my hand on them sandbags. Oh, I was like, and I asked Jeff, hey, how much does the sandbag weigh? He just looked at me. He was like, man, like how much? When I put my hands on them. So Avery, when you put your hands on something, you be like, oh, just get one of them. Don't get 2. Just say, you know, I'm just gonna get this one. And then you get to the sled. That sled had to weigh 200 to 300 pounds. Oh, that was the heaviest thing I put and they don't show and Bruce is right. Show the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was exhausted. I had fell out on the top up there. I was out. I was like,
see, like I'm 90 pounds, so
you better stop feeding you some burgers if you want to. Should be you eating burgers. I'm getting ready.
So you up to the top. Hey, go on up there, climb up there, and get that thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the other end. I'm 190, so I feel like I just need a few more burgers, and I can just one man the. Bruce, you look shocked.
What are you putting 190?
Because I'm also tall.
You got so many shoes on. How tall
are you, Will?
6'2".
You're 6'2".
I'm 5'2".
Hold on, stop. Time out. Will, all these years, it's been at least 3 years. It's been at least 3 years.
At least, yeah.
I've always thought you probably was no taller than 5'6", 5'5". Maybe because I've always seen you sitting down. I've never seen you standing up.
Why? Yeah.
You were 6 what?
Yeah. Actually, I might be 6'1.5", but I round up to 6'2".
The hell.
Man, it must be the way you're sitting, because I'm sitting up close like this. I'm like 17'2".
Yeah. I lean back a lot.
I would have never said he was 6 foot. It's like Matthew. When I saw him in person, I would never think Matthew
taller
was
than me.
He way taller than he's taller than me too. But you're not taller. I think you and Matthew might be the same height.
I think we talked about short. This. Yeah, I'm pretty sure me and Matt talked about this before. But getting off topic again. But Bruce made a good point earlier. Bruce was like, you put yourself in a powerful position or at a certain point, and then all eyes are on you. And sometimes it's hard to get away from the spotlight if you can't swap out. And that's kind of what we saw with Camilla in this challenge, right? And the reason why I bring up Camilla in particular, because yes, it's on everyone with the challenge. They lost the challenge. I'm talking Siva, not Siva, Vula, Vula 2.0. Yes, they all lost. Bruce is short, Dylan.
Is that my son? Boy, shut up.
Shout out to Dylan, by the way.
Family members should not come in here to mess with me.
But Vula loses the challenge, and the first confessional is from Shaheen saying it's Camilla's fault, right? She lost the challenge, and while Shaheen is doing it in a way where he's not trying to pin all the blame and try and make Camilla feel bad, there is still a lot of blame being tossed on Camilla, right? And so when Vula lost the challenge, let's say you don't know about any of the advantages or idols, right? Let's just say you just know you're one of the players, right? Let's just say you're Thomas, you're Kyle, you're Shaheen. What do you make of the dynamics? And do you think that from their perspective, do you think Camilla is the clear and consensus boot leaving the challenge?
Oh, never.
No.
Yeah.
No. I would have gone along the same lines as them and said Kyle. Because Camilla, I believe, said at some point in time that I forgot who they were talking about voting off, but she had said that we need a puzzle person, no matter what. like we're gonna need a puzzle person. She is a puzzle person.
Right.
It's just that is not that putting those blocks together. That is not easy. I've done it with my tribe, and it was a hard thing to do. But Kyle would have been the one to go, not her.
Yeah, and it was clear once we saw more of Vula. I'm saying like right after the challenge, like they're still on the mat and they lost, and they're talking to Jeff Probst, and Probst is like, "Well, guys, sorry to say, you still don't have your flint. You go fight for another day." But yeah, do you think? I just want to say props to Camilla and Kyle for creating a lie so beautifully, so perfectly that it's. I sort of believe them too. I was texting Josh during the whole point of the episode, and he was convinced that like it was Camilla or Kyle at a certain point, right? Despite them clearly being in cahoots, despite us knowing about their idol and advantage. And that leads me to a point. Do you think the California girls got too cocky and too confident?
I don't think they got too confident. Go ahead, Avery.
I was gonna say the same thing. I mean, it's like they have not a single clue, right? And they're just like Camilla. I mean, I would have believed them too. They really were like, "Oh, we don't know each other really." Like, I was on the bottom for real. Like, and it was just like a whole thing with them talking. Obviously, Shaheen was like, I want to keep her for puzzles. And Thomas was like, I want to vote Camilla, asks Kyle. Kyle's like, yeah, I'll vote for her. And then Kyle tells Joe that he'll vote for Camilla. And they're both basically telling everyone they're going to vote for each other. And when they get to the point where they're like, okay, who does everyone want to vote for? And then obviously Joe and Shaheen are like Kyle. And Thomas is like Camilla. And it just, I don't know, like it was kind of like the perfect. They got very lucky. Like it was the perfect situation for them to be in with their advantages, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed by it. I really enjoyed that.
I think if future Survivor players, you want to capture this episode. In the event that there's a tribe swap and you do have that type of relationship with the person that comes with you, and if you do or don't and you have something, I think they played it masterfully.
Yeah.
And I think Thomas kind of let them.
Yeah.
Even though the edit said he might play his advantage, I didn't think he was going to play it. No. But the way they said, hey, we don't know each other, and they gave out little clues, it seemed like when Shahid said, oh, when Kamala, she was like, hey, no, I was on the bottom, and Kyle was like, well, you really wasn't. I was like, this is a masterclass. This is a masterclass in how to play Survivor and not give away something that you're going to need later on. And it was that tribal, because I was like, also, all three of them was kind of gullible. I was like,
yeah. I actually think that the California girls played pretty bad. I don't think Joe or Shaheen did anything necessarily wrong. I understand their logic, and it's hard to. I don't want to just be like, oh, they should have known better. They should have, predicted it. But I really wish Shaheen didn't dig through the bag in front of Camilla. I thought that was a pretty bold and brazen move, because what if, right? Like, what if they are lying? And I really wish they took more time to just think like, hey, what if they were in our position, right? Like, let's just say I was in a tribe of 5 and I was at number 3 to 2. I'd want there to be cracks. I want there to seem like there's cracks and try to figure something out. And I wish they spent more time thinking about that, because
wait, would you go through their bag?
I would. I wouldn't in front of Camilla.
Avery, you go through that bag? Oh, Avery,
yeah.
Avery over there said she in the bag.
I'm going through everybody's bag. As soon as the merge hits, I'm gonna be like, what's in here?
Someone went through mine.
I mean, that would be a crazy move. Go to the merge, right? You're all around the campfire, your stuff from the merge feast, and someone's just like, all right, let's all dump our bags out right now. As if it was tribal. Like, because that's what Denise did in Winners at War, right?
Yeah.
Or like she tried hiding the idol, because I think Tyson demanded that everyone emptied their bags, or Rob or someone was like, we should all empty our bags.
Man, I ain't in my bag.
I feel like that'd be a crazy move at the merge. But like Thomas had the materials and supplies to survive. If they split the votes, right, just 2-2, Thomas used his vote steal. If Thomas was honest after Camilla told the truth about the advantage, because Thomas could have lied too. He could have been like, hey, I lied to y'all about the advantage because I knew Star had the Beware advantage and I didn't want there to be a lot of paranoia. I just wanted, I wanted Loggy to be, strong. I didn't want paranoia. Shaheen and Joe, I think, would have absolutely understood. I think they would have been like, it sucks you didn't tell us then, but you told us now. That's great.
They wanted to vote him out anyway. Shaheen wanted to vote Thomas out 2 episodes ago.
Not really.
He
Shaheen was worried about
he
Thomas
didn't
because
trust
Thomas was playing very aggressive and telling Shaheen to throw away Star's.
I'd have voted Shaheen out because he went through the bag, so he gets the vote.
Who said I think during tribal was like that kind of like I don't remember exactly what they said, but they said something about like unless they're lying.
Yeah.
And if they were lying, that was
Respect.
great job or whatever.
That's Shaheen.
Yeah.
That he said that to Camilla. He was
He
like,
jinxed himself.
But the other thing also is that they didn't. First off, the California girls didn't. They thought like, and I'm gonna say it. They thought like men. If there was a woman that was there in that, if there was one more person and there was a woman with the 3 of them, she would have said, we got to split our votes. They didn't even think about that. But even still, with the scenario that they went through, they were screwed anyway.
Yeah.
They put 2 on Kyle, 1 on Camilla, and then they, Camilla and
The extra.
there's the steal a vote though.
steal a vote.
So it would have been 2-2 anyways.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have mattered, but it would have showed a little bit more game. All of them, love you all as human beings outside of the game, but it would have showed a little bit more of a strategic mindset to split it up and see where it would have played from there.
It was a good play. It was a good play, but not for Thomas.
Oh, can I give a shout out to Kyle real quick?
Absolutely. Kyle deserves praise. Kyle and Camilla both.
Yeah, he. The only thing I'm going to give a shout. Well, not the only thing, but he had they went through his bag. They couldn't find anything. And I literally sat there and I looked over to my wife and my son and I said, when I had mine and my bag had been going through, when I had my idol was inside of my shoe, underneath the sole of my shoe. So you would have never known. It was like at the front of my shoe, tucked in, and then my insert, whatever, was there, and you never would have known. I could walk around, run, do whatever, and I
Good
never
to know.
Yeah, I was
But
gonna say,
now
hear that,
you said
Avery?
that I can't use it someday. Thanks,
Hey.
Bruce.
So sorry, so sad. But
That's a lot of time trying to dig through somebody's sweaty.
no one's gonna go through somebody. They're not gonna have enough time to go through someone's bag.
Especially not your shoes.
Yeah. And who wants to put their hand in somebody's shoe? Like, ooh.
Ew.
You kind of feel in the bag.
I will say
let that go.
There was a time where someone stole another contestant's pair of shoes on Survivor. Shout out to Holly from Nicaragua for stealing Dan Lembo's crocodile shoes.
Mhm.
Imagine if you were Dan Lembo. You hid the idol in the sole of your shoe, and then it turns out someone took your shoes and threw them in the ocean.
Oh,
How would you respond to that?
Oh, heck no.
We had 2 pair of shoes. We had game shoes and we had
Look, your idol
Yeah,
was
but
in
if they
there.
took
But the
your
idol
shoe
was in one of
with
the
the
pairs.
idol and throw
Idol's
it in the freaking ocean.
So you gotta read
Like,
that
what even
contract.
happens with that? Like, I guess behind the scenes, like, wise, like, what even happens with that? Like, do they, like, put another idol on the island, or like, it
I think
didn't
they
get
would have
leaked?
just gifted you the idol again. They probably would have just been like,
No.
it depends.
We
How-
see Mary walk by idol that they still ain't found, but
Mhm.
yeah, I guess when it's gone, it's gone. So I guess they have to replace it, but
No,
Yeah.
that's not due to any fault of their own. I think that they would probably give them an idol, like because
I would.
of the fact that somebody was gameplay, and you're not technically supposed to do that. Like Sandra burning Russell's hat, and what about
It was wilding out there, boy. That was Wild West of Survivor.
things have changed since then. Who was
Yeah.
it? Who had the sneakers? Was it Xander?
Phil
Xander had the
James.
sneakers.
James can't eat the bananas. That was.
I was
funny.
gonna say, One World, Bill took Colton's idol and was trying to throw it in the ocean and got stopped by producers. during the very early days. Yeah,
Hello?
like, but that was a lot more brazen. Like, I'm saying, what if you didn't know that the idol was in the pair of shoes, and then you ruined the pair of shoes with the idol inside?
They would probably give them the idol somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way.
I
It's
freaking hope so. I'd be so dang mad.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'd be mad to a certain extent, but I feel like that would just been great ammunition to use, because then I would have been like, this player just burned my shoes. Like, right or wrong, that's clearly not someone who should be in the game. We should vote them out, and then they get voted out, and that's why Avery's getting voted out of Survivor 52.
They said Colton died.
What's that?
Hater.
I'm not a hater. I feel like you would steal a pair of shoes, Avery.
I would not steal a pair of shoes.
You would
I'm
dig
not
through a
stealing-
bag.
I follow the rules, okay?
So
And,
you're
like,
goody two
it
shoes?
states that you can dig through a bag. It doesn't say you can't.
No, you can dig through a bag. You just can't steal somebody's stuff.
Yeah, why would I
Yeah.
steal somebody's stuff? I just want to know, but I'm not taking
I mean,
it.
somebody introduced that into the game of Survivor where you go into their bag and you start rummaging through it. But here's the problem now. If they walk up on you,
You're screwed.
Yeah.
you ain't but 90 pounds, Pippin. I hate to see that.
Remember, you're playing the game of Survivor. If you walk up on somebody talking about you, if you walk up on somebody in your bag, you're gonna be like, "Yo, what are you doing in my bag?" Like, da da da. And it's like, "Oh, I'm just checking." Oh, okay, yeah, good gameplay. Then you don't say anything to the person in front of you. Like normally, if I'm going into work and I got my lunch in the refrigerator and I come around the corner and some dude stands up with my sandwich in his mouth, it was going to throw hands. Like, what are you doing? That is my protein for the day, and blah blah blah. But if you're in Survivor, you come around and somebody's eating a piece of coconut, you're like, "Yo, that was." Like, oh, I'm sorry, this is your coconut, my bad. And like, oh, no, don't worry about it. I'll get my own coconut. And like, it's different when you're playing the game. Like, believe me, there were so many things that I wanted to say when I was out there, but I'm like, and it slipped one time. I was hungry, but there's so many different things that you want to say during this game that you just cannot say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's at the end of the day, you gotta, Bruce, you're right. It's in context. We, even though Rome, we did was gonna put hands on him.
That would be different.
Look, it's just so much stuff going on and so many you there. And here's the thing: you only see an hour and a half of a 24-hour day.
Right.
Yeah.
Most people are not sleeping probably 3 or 4 hours.
Right.
The rest of the time, you just either up talking or you just up, or you get an occasion where you're by yourself and a camera's not there because you're not the focal point of whatever they're talking about. But for the most part, and that's why I think I can't remember who said it. They said like a day in Survivor is like 6 months long or something. It's like because all you do is have each other. Oh,
Yeah.
Cedric said it. He said it the best when they came back before they did the tribe swap. He said, "Look, you don't really start playing until you actually go to tribal council and you start voting each other out. Because it's like fun and exciting. Look at the camp life. Look at the camp life of the ones that were winning versus the tribe that was losing. That camp life was decimated.
Right.
They're the
I
ones
feel
that winning.
like I'd like screw myself with like naps. Like I feel like I would just be like, I would
Well,
just
people
take a
nap out. Everybody,
Like,
they're
I
not looking
fall
for you all
asleep.
day.
I fell asleep, they'd be talking to me or about me, or I'd be like, I'm gonna go to the water boy. They come back there, I'm asleep. Feel like that would happen for
You
sure.
better get that purple at it.
Yeah.
Y'all seen Avery? No, she sleep again, man.
Too busy taking a nap. Meanwhile,
Why
we're
every-
West over here building the shelter, being a workhorse.
Let me tell you something, baby. This is what we're gonna be doing. I want you to say. I'm gonna guarantee this is what we're gonna be doing. We'll be looking at you, man. She's season 51. Why is she sleeping all? Bruce.
Yep.
Why is Avery sleeping? We're gonna be on the group chat. Somebody text Avery and wake her up, man. What's going on? I can guarantee you we're gonna do it, Avery. I can.
I'd be like,
First
not
boots group
again.
chat.
Not another episode of being sleepy. What
We're
is
like
going
tanning.
on?
I would tan on the beach and fall asleep.
Just say you got what is it? Narcolepsy? Yeah, I'm narcoleptic. Like
You can be narcoleptic when you go lay down, dog. That's not
you
narcolepsy.
feel it coming.
Oh,
All right, hold on, let me sit down.
if you fall over, you can fall in a way to where you fall in like a fetal position, and then
I
you like
remember when I was in basic training, I was in parade rest and I fell asleep standing up in parade rest, and my drill sergeant woke me up and then took me around the entire building and introduced me to every single drill sergeant and told them what happened. And oh, it was hell. They were like, "You got some talent." Da, 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 da. They'd walk past me and be like, "Oh, hey, that's the girl that fell asleep in parade dress." I'm like, "Whatever, haters. I got in a little nap, so let me do what I do."
What branch did you go in? What branch were you in?
Army.
Yeah, y'all do too much in the morning for us, so you're right about that.
Wait, weren't you Air Force?
All day, every day, buddy.
Don't you mean afternoon?
Y'all sleep in hotels. You out there? Hey, ain't y'all sleeping in 12 bunks? 12 of y'all bunks.
Not our own racks, baby. They call racks, not bunks.
Y'all
Racks.
sleeping in bunks, man. Y'all, hey, look, got about this much room for your head. That's why you hit your head. You was so
No,
you
I was
thought you
on
better
top
maybe
bunk.
slip.
Weird that
So
I did hit my head and I had no room.
I was top bunk and I was perfectly fine. Although one girl did say she would push me off.
You're also 5'2", so I feel
Yeah.
like
Hey,
I feel
now you
like
gotta
top
look.
bunk is scary. I feel like you're looking over Mount Everest when you're up.
Like a spider monkey getting up in a bed.
It was actually pretty high up, I'm not gonna lie. Like when they would flip the bunks, it was hard for me to get that shit back up.
Mhm.
Sorry for my French.
It's all
Hey,
good.
look.
I will say we have some comments from the Wild West.
Wow, yeah.
Shout out to
Man.
you, Wild West, by the way. Love the last name. But do you think the extra vote in idle play was overkill or well played? Because I thought there wasn't the extra vote being played. That
I mean,
was
he didn't
not
say
played.
it. He didn't read an extra vote.
He didn't say there was
Yeah.
no need for him to say it, but it was probably played.
Mm.
I mean, according to the voting chart, there was none played.
I mean,
Like,
if
there's
you
still
go with it, I'm saying, but your strategy is your strategy. So I gotta
Yeah.
like, Wild West. You trying to stay another day. So whatever you got to throw at the kitchen, you throwing the same
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if Thomas told them about the steal vote, do you think it would have mattered? I think it would have. I think if Thomas came clean, I think they would have had a better idea to split the votes, just because then they have nothing to lose. Then you split the votes 2-2, and worst case, it's either a 2-2-2 or a 2-2-1.
I like to refer
Yeah.
back to Bruce's comment, please. Thank you. Rewind to where they said they needed somebody else that was thinking about splitting the vote.
Yep.
No time doing that. Because see, we only see 5 minutes of the conversation, so that means they were talking for at least 5 hours,
Yeah.
and
Right.
none of them came up with a split a vote.
Yeah. But I do think the idle play was obviously a must. Like, he had
Oh yeah.
no other choice. Extra vote, I think, is still smart to play just in case, because they knew Thomas went on the journey. They knew
Mhm.
Thomas had something or was lying about something, because saying he didn't do anything and decided to not play, that was a very obvious lie that Camilla and Kyle both knew for a fact, even if Shaheen and Joe weren't privy to that or didn't
That
know for
reiterates
sure.
why they should have played that extra vote, just for the simple fact that there was only one vote that was going to be taken away.
You just
Yeah.
never know, so it's better.
But
just
they
to
didn't know
get
that
a
a
win.
vote could have been taken away.
Nah, here's the
Yeah,
crazy part.
but even still, like this,
Oh.
just to try and circumvent the ability for something to be played.
Yeah.
some way.
Now
Just
this
in
either gonna
case.
bring the tribes closer, or they gonna be
No.
Okay.
They're fractured, I think. I don't think there's any going back. I think every tribe now has a big fracture and a big wedge. I'm not going to lie.
I think I don't. It's dicey. Well, now because it's 2-2.
Yeah.
So it's 2-2. Unless somebody swings, and we know it's not gonna be Kyle and Camilla. So, I say Josh would probably sacrifice his partner to stay longer. I say he'll sacrifice him. I think what's the name? Man, they'll throw each other under the bus. But if we got to, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next week.
Yeah.
We saw Kyle profiled in next week's episode, but just because you profiled in the preview, don't mean nothing.
Nope.
Right.
And do you think anyone's going to find the idol? I think as the last question, because we're
Yes.
already talking previews and whatnot.
Well, Mary walked by. No, wait a minute.
We're talking on Vula,
Oh,
because the idol's gone now because Kyle played it.
Bruce. I guess Bruce can talk to this more because I didn't find. Look, when you're looking for an idol out there in the jungle, in the woods, it is not as easy as TV make it looks like. Oh yeah, I just walked up on an idol. Yeah, you may try to go to something that you think is where you would hide something, but you've been out there for a couple of hours, not just 10 minutes. I was up on a rock cliff and then couldn't find out when the show aired. They didn't put the idol out until I think episode or day 3. So it wasn't even there.
Yeah, when Lulu, we never found our idol on that beach.
Yeah, so
and we believe me, we looked. We had a lot of time to be able to look because we didn't lose anything, so we were constantly at the beach, so or at our camp. But I think someone will find it just because of the people that are remaining at that beach. Someone's going to find it.
I hope somebody helps Star get her idol.
Oh yeah, she still doesn't have it, right?
No.
Like she's still
unless you know that puzzle, unless you know how to solve that puzzle, you need help. And Thomas them to me was just super dirty. So
yeah,
whoever helps her helps himself.
She just lost 3 people from her tribe that weren't willing to work with her.
Oh, she's with Mary. I think we saw the clip next week. Mary's going to help her.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that remember what she did was she told one person and then just went on and told everybody. So nobody wanted to really help her find it. So that is evident to the fact that it would have been 4 days now have gone by, and nobody said anything to her about it.
We didn't even see the edit on it. Well, hey, but what's cool? Well, let me get a shout out to Star because I met her in person, man. She's mad cool, man. She be chilling, man. I was like, hey, so I want to see her just get her moment too, not the Bruce moment where the next day you going. No, I want that moment. I just want to see her play the game more and get more engaged in it. No.
I think she is. I just don't think she's getting the focus of the narrative because she's very aware of her surroundings. And that's the one thing I think I really like most about Star's game so far is that she knows or she knew that she was on the bottom and she knew she had to pull in people. And I think she was smart about just throwing Ava under the bus. I think I don't blame her for not knowing that Joe and Ava had a very tight duo on the early days of Loggy. That happens. And I think her trying to pivot to Thomas and Bianca could have played out if they stayed on Loggy a little longer, or maybe if Loggy went to tribal council. I don't know what would have happened. I think maybe Star would have went regardless, or maybe Shaheen would have went. But I do think that she's playing the game actively. I just think her lack of screen time comes from just she's not important to the overall story that Survivor's telling at the moment. You know what I'm saying?
There's a comment that Wild West put up.
Wild West.
Yeah. Is it the star needs to be on the original beach?
Mm-hmm. So what does that mean?
Oh, that's a good one.
What does that mean for her now?
And what does that mean for the people on her original beach where that idol is there, but she has the...
That means that they're never going to get that. They'll never get the ability because that idol was not found on that beach.
I mean, but if she remembers enough of the information that you got from the animals and the letters and stuff, and give them because Star had the letters. She had the letters. She just couldn't figure out.
Yeah, but the map it was different for each beach.
Yeah, but she wouldn't need it anymore as long as she remembers the letters.
She remembers it or wrote it down. Wrote it down. There's nothing to write it down on. But
Bruce, what pen did you have out there? What kind of pen did you have? You had a pen, pencil, a marker?
One of those endangered birds. I used one of the feathers to write. All right.
Appeared out of nowhere.
But here's the thing: if she remembers the letters, because remember, Cedric helped save with the letters. They got all the letters. She just couldn't figure out what order the letters went in. But if she can get that done, I think we see a clip next week where Mary is helping her put the actual. But if they open that, you know what? That's a good. I don't know about that one. That's a whole.
I thought she didn't figure out. Wait, now I'm confused.
She figured the letters out. She just couldn't figure out the order of the letters. Because who opened theirs and they had the letters wrong? They had the letters right. I think they spelled it wrong or something.
I think Camilla and Kyle. I think they had like listen, and they put in silent or I think it was the other way around. I think it was silent, but they put listen, which is an anagram. So it's kind of. I don't think they even did it wrong.
He said anagram. We using big words now. What the hell?
Big words?
Anagram. Who use anagram?
Flat out words.
Anagram, I think, is pretty apt to put in that in that sentence.
Avery, you use the word anagrams. When the last time you used the word anagrams in a sentence? Man,
never.
Will you play too much? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, what other word could we describe where if you rearrange the letters, you get another word?
Anagram.
IDK.
Exactly, anagram. Thank you,
I mean,
Abraham.
I didn't say it was. I didn't say it was the wrong observation of what we were talking about. I merely said that we just don't use it in day-to-day conversation.
I've
Yeah,
literally
Bruce.
probably never used that word in my life.
Maybe
have.
I'm just online too much.
No, I'm using not in this
Wow.
context. Not in this.
The real pen too is the sticks say used to leave a note from Mary, which I thought was a really funny part of the episode too that I forgot to
I'm trying to figure out
mention.
how you get much time to try to bring some sticks up, man.
Right, and was Mary must have been out on like a she's out on a walk, she's doing a confessional. There's no getting around because
Oh yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
what it was.
there was nothing else. There's no other reason why she'd be going that long unless like she ate a foul like I don't know snail or something. I don't know, but it's just one of those things like you literally like she had so much time to find those sticks, crack up the sticks, and spell that out, and I was just like,
That probably was 30 minutes right there. It's like
Yep.
you had for 30 minutes.
yeah, and the sun barely moved. Damn.
Maybe Sage is really good at leaving notes with sticks. Maybe it only took her 5 minutes. You don't
No,
know.
it didn't. First of all, look, every stick we had, we burnt. So no, you weren't trying to keep those sticks.
But this is on the Vula tribe who don't make the right choices all the time, considering the state of their camp.
Yeah,
I can tell you what-
Lulu does rhyme with Lulu.
Yeah.
So
One night I got up and I couldn't realize that the other 5 people couldn't make fireworks shit. So I had to go get firewood on the beach, but there's no light. So I'm hoping I'm walking on the beach and nothing don't attack me out there trying to get the wood that I seen earlier that day. I mean, there's some fun parts of the game. You just don't see on film.
Yeah.
It's just really cool.
Yeah. And I think that might be it for today. Is there anything else that we missed? I feel like I think we did a great job of both recapping the episode because I honestly think we covered everything, and also going insanely off the rails.
oh yeah,
How to get waterboarded
I remember at some point I was zoning out for a minute, but I'm pretty sure we're talking about bunk beds as well. Bunk beds and getting waterboarded. Now you're good. Wow, I really like the comments too. There's only so much.
Hold on, what does Wild Wild West do that he's bored at work?
didn't he say he worked at a hospital?
He waterboards people at Outback Steakhouse.
Right,
He's
for sure.
waterboarded?
Yeah.
Hold on, man. Let me be like, hey, what are you doing, Wild Wild West? You at work? We appreciate you hanging out with us too, man.
He's in the geriatric unit, just mixing up the pills.
He's like, let me just.
He said that's you know what? I was looking at Avery's background. I was like, how is she in that box? What did she create? And I was like, oh, that's a chair. So it's just like you were like your background. I was like, man, her background is black. What's going on here?
Guys, I'm in a chair.
Okay.
That's my background, if you were curious.
My background is green.
Whatever.
Sterile processing tech, by the way. No more surgeries going on today.
Nothing's going to be sterile now.
There's going to be a giant spot missing. There's going to be some key piece of information missing. And poor Wild West is going to be like, guys, I'm sorry.
What happened to Wild West?
I was watching Survivor Now.
I was watching
I
Survivor
didn't realize
now.
it still had blood on it. My bad.
My bad. But honestly, I'd get fired for Survivor Now. TBH.
No. I mean, look, I see y'all cats at my job after I finish working today.
Anywho, you can meet us tomorrow, or meet me tomorrow, 8:00 Eastern Standard Time for Survivor Stock Watch, where I will be talking more about this episode. So shout out to this episode. And then there's also the Australian recap episode 2 tomorrow night as well at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you plan it perfectly, you just get like 5 hours of Survivor Now.
Hey, hold on, I got to comment on this picture. Matthew, why they put Matthew picture like that? They got Ollie them looking like superstars, like they model it. And they got Ollie. Matthew standing out there. Give Matthew a new picture, man. Stop playing, y'all dirty. Hey, Bruce, get him a new picture, man.
Plus, he cut his hair too, so he's got to change it up a little bit.
He cut his hair?
Like the
Didn't he?
hair.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Matthew in a while.
Yeah,
So that's
I like the other hair.
I miss the old hair. And then there's also Got Something For You too at Saturdays 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to Got Something For You, by the way. We get more Matthew, more Matt and Ollie. That's what the world needs, by the way.
I love working with Ollie. Ollie he's a trip.
About to put hands
Oh
on
yeah.
Ollie.
Him and Abraham, I'm always afraid to be in a call with because I don't know what's about to get said.
Who is
And then there's also the Survivor Social, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays. Shout out to Survivor Social, by the way. Shout out to all the shows.
So all the people that are watching today, make sure that you like, subscribe, share. Tell
Oh,
your
yeah.
mama, your mama's mama, your uncle, your nephew, your niece, everybody.
Dog.
Let's go. Load us up.
And the closing remark by Wild West too. My name is West, and I ain't that mess. And
Period.
my name is also West. So
Will, what's
I
your
have
real name, Will? What's your real name?
what do you mean? What's my real name?
I mean, is it just Will short for something, or it's just Will?
I mean, yeah, it's William,
Okay.
but like,
He was like, "What's my dude? It Will is short for something."
I,
Oh, there you go, right there.
yeah.
I still say Will, but okay, we'll give him credit.
But yeah. I hope everyone has a wonderful night, y'all, and I'll be back 8 p.m. tomorrow.